Hello, boys. I'm Shane from Australia, Sky News and Triple M Radio and Nine Radio. Lovely to meet you both.
Nice to meet you.
Thanks. Sorry to keep you waiting, Shane.
Thanks a lot, Joe. Yeah, just step out. That's fine. It's only 3 a.m. here. I can wait.
Well, you would have got me probably wetting myself mid-interview.
I'm only joking.
All out of vision. I could have maybe just kept that to myself, and we could have.
No worries. No, I'm only joking. Joe, you've come a long way since Skins, and Gershwyn, I loved you in ANDOR, mate, and The Gentleman. Very good roles.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
So this show I've seen 4 episodes of, Get Millie Black. It's different. It really creates discussion. First of all, how did you each get the roles? Were you handpicked or did you have to send self-tapes? How did you score the parts?
For me, I went through the audition process. Shaheen Baig sent through the audition, and she's been a champion of mine. But yeah, the audition came through. I had a few rounds of auditioning for Curtis. In that, I got the opportunity to speak to the producers and speak to Tanya, who directed the episodes. And the opportunity of delving into Curtis, like this guy that's living that dual life the opportunity of filming down in Jamaica, which it's a tough decision just to leave London for 4 months and delve into Kingston life. It's when you delved into the script and just how Marlon's carefully written in different social issues, life in Kingston, like in Jamaica. Once the offer came up, I was snatched it.
And for me, I mean, look, I think Gersh and I are both sort of actors that have been lucky enough to be part of some great projects over the years. You mentioned about a few of them there, like I'm still very much like at in the stage where if there's something I really want, like I'm auditioning for that role and hoping that I put the work in for the tape and do myself justice, and hopefully it goes my way. And occasionally you get offered stuff, but it's not always great, and you're always flattered to be offered something. And then I got offered this, like with no audition, and that was like I almost fell off my chair. It was like one of the first things where you go, an offer's coming, you go, all right, okay, let's read what this is. And it was just this amazing project. Again, Shaheen Baig being the casting director is someone that's, almost single-handedly kept me employed, for the past decade. So, the scripts got sent through, and Marlon had written me a letter to go alongside it. And, I'm sure you can imagine Marlon can write a letter, like he can write a pretty good letter that sells a project to you, lock, stock and barrel. So, you as an actor, I think you're always, the first port of call is the script and the character. And so to hear him talk about Holborn and what he felt Holborn represented, it just became a no-brainer for me. He said in this letter that this is a show about power structures and how they can be used to nefarious ends, and that he felt that Holborn was kind of the personification of that within the show. That he represents a sort of rotten and corrupt system. Yeah, being the Metropolitan Police, and it's pretty well documented in recent years that the Met does have a lot of institutional problems that it's going to take a long time to sort out. But I think beyond that as well, as you delved further into the script, it felt like he was talking about broader systems than that, and that that every character within this show is to some degree a product of their environment. And I feel like Holborn is from abject poverty, and that's the driving force. That's what sort of makes him do the things that he does. He's a monster has been made out of him by a society riven with inequality, and so it all just felt too juicy to say no to. They said, do you want to spend 4 months in Kingston? I mean, yeah.
Well, I've got to say, you're a very nasty character, but you seem like you're a lovely person in real life. So that's a testament to your acting.
Oh, thanks very much. Yeah, I'm a real chameleon. Yeah, really, really, really.
Gershwyn, Curtis, how did you approach that character? I mean, he's also very much got different layers to how he reacts to things.
I think for me, I'm of Caribbean heritage. Both my mum and dad are Trinidadian. I remember sort of growing up. For me, mum, I don't know if carefully or just because it's where she came from, very much kind of wrapped me in Trinidadian culture as much as she could, be it the music, be it the food, to the point where I came into secondary school, everyone's listening to R&B and hip hop, and I was like, what? Do you want to listen to some Shadow or some Sparrow? Everyone's like, no, we don't. Just in terms of feeling slightly on the outside is where I sort of bring that story in. With Curtis, it's a case of a guy living that dual life. You know, he's a good cop, he's a good detective, he's good at his job. You know, he's tech savvy, and so maybe he has the respect of his peers in that. But
Yeah.
at the same point in time, he is living his real life at home in his loving relationship with Daniel, and it's lovely that we do see that as a very supportive and loving relationship when we get to spend time with them.
Yeah.
And they really do seem to support each other. But just seeing how those two worlds of his own sort of clash against each other within Millie Black was really interesting for me. Just how hard do you have to work to, you know, Joe used the word chameleon earlier, like how hard do you have to work to be that chameleon at work? And even though this is your job, there's still part of you that I can't quite lean into. I have to try and wrap up while I'm here. And just how does that, you know, what does that do to you mentally, trying to hide something on a consistent basis? Like that kind of stress to operate under is...
Yeah.
Which is something that the two characters share in different ways. You know, it's that thing, that difference between how you present and what's really going on under the surface, you know.
Yeah, true. And I think when you've got great actors like China, obviously, is a natural, and Tamara, as we call Tamara's Tamara here as well. I think both the connection and just the vibrant, beaming talent is just there to see, and it works within this show, which is on a lower budget, but it achieves so much.
Yeah, I think.
I mean, sorry, go, Gosh.
No, I was going to say that for me, it was special getting to work with Tamara. We had worked on a rehearsed reading like years before. So you get the opportunity, yes, to work together, and you sort of, you know, you sit down and you delve into things with the director, but here you really the opportunity to do our own separate work, then work together a bit before we got down to Jamaica. And yeah, then when we're down in Jamaica, just bring these two characters to life and see how they work alongside each other and how they rub each other the wrong way at certain points. I think she's a fantastic performer. I learned a lot, like getting to play alongside her. And then I think the first shot that I did with China, I think it's the three of us when we're sat in the car after Millie gets her sister out of jail.
Sure.
So it was interesting for me within that, just from a Curtis perspective, seeing how these siblings interact with each other, but then Curtis himself gets quite spiky by something that China says.
Yeah,
that Hibiscus says. My apologies. And it's interesting that is kind of what he carries throughout the series, especially while he's at work. Like there's not at work, at home. There's a separation between his life and Daniel, and then Hibiscus and her ladies. No, we're different. He doesn't, you know. So it was interesting to see all that play against each other. But yeah.
And further to your point, Shane, about what the show sort of achieves, what it puts on screen with a sort of, relatively speaking, modest budget. You know, we've been saying before about how, as we shot the series, what became more and more clear in its importance was the fact that this was all right, it's a US UK production technically, but the vast majority of the crew were Jamaican, and then outside of Tamara, Gershwyn, and myself, the entire cast were Jamaican, and that just the realizing that for what was potentially at stake with Get Millie Black was, if we did it right, was that it could be an incredible and long overdue showcase for Jamaican talent on the world stage. I mean, you've already mentioned China, but it's like, the list goes on. You got Shernette, who plays Janet, Chris Daly, who's like a Jamaican legend, right? Getting the chance to sort of perform and to be in an international production. Belinda, who plays Baraka, Patra, PJ, who plays Freddie Somerville, never acted before in his life. Like, to find, just to basically to realize there is just this rich vein of talent there in Jamaica, and all it just needs to be tapped and given the opportunity to shine and do its thing. And hopefully there are many more productions that decide to go and shoot over there, and as mentioned before in our previous call, more Jamaican writers are given the opportunities to tell Jamaican stories.
Exactly. Thank you very much. I've got to go back to bed. I'm very tired, but it was lovely to see you both. Thanks for the interesting conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you.